Hi, everybody. Another fun live stream. We have some very interesting stories to discuss today. One of them including a video game. I'm surprised how much I'm suddenly covering video games. It's fun. It's exciting. We always love when things change. Very busy morning already. I've already dropped 3 videos, and now we have the live stream. So thank you for joining me. As always, the way this works is that please try to keep your comments to what the story is at hand while we're discussing it, and I'll always open it up. Thank you, Dancing Dog 60, for gifting those 5 memberships. And I'll always open it up to your questions about that topic at the end of each section. But then at the very end of every live stream, for 10 minutes, you can ask me anything. So if you have something that's about a topic that has nothing to do with these stories, well, then save it for that section, please. All right, everybody, here we go. Thanks for joining me. All right, story number 1. Boop. All right, so Warner Brothers Discovery had their upfront this morning, and it was a total snooze fest. Thanks for gifting a membership, Zay. Total snooze fest. I think it was a combination of having just recently done their Max announcement. Zazzy wasn't even there. Tanya also gifted 5 memberships. You guys are so generous. So I think it's a combination of the Max event having just taken place and then also the writer's strike. There was no talent on hand. And in fact, Warner Brothers Discovery said they'd made that choice intentionally. Instead, they only had executives in person. And that was pretty much the case for Disney yesterday. Disney really just had CNN and ESPN talent, but they didn't have anybody who was, who would be in the entertainment space. Now, they had some headlines that came out of it that I wanted to discuss. The biggest one was, look at that, woo, Jason Momoa will host Shark Week in 2023. Now, that's a huge deal. Dwayne Johnson hosted it last year. Shark Week is probably one of Discovery's fanciest and most glittery crown jewels, up there with, that's right, Mika, up there with 90 Day Fiancé. So, this is like the bread and butter of Discovery. And as Mika just pointed out, what an amazing bit of synergy, because of course Jason Momoa is Aquaman, and sharks are in the ocean. So they can use this whole Shark Week to advertise Aquaman. And, coming off of Fast X, that's like a really, really, Fast X, now this, Aquaman. I think Jason Momoa is getting a lot of momentum. And I would suspect after Aquaman comes out and there's been a little bit of space, I do think they will probably announce that Lobo movie and probably end his Aquaman films. Let's see a trailer, but I suspect Aquaman will not do very well. I think people are ready for the new DC, or not, but I think they're kind of done with the DC that currently exists. No problem, AG68. I'm glad you're doing well in university. So there he is. You can see him there looking very nice. He says hi to everybody. See, so he didn't show up in person, but there he is. Woo! Saying, I'm so excited to host Shark Week. Ka-ching! So that's great. So that was one thing that they discussed. Then they only really dropped 2 trailers. Here you go. This is what they were. And as you can see, they both have the Max branding, even though HBO Max is still the name of the YouTube channel. But at the end of the month, I think May 23rd, right? That's when Max launches. They'll change that branding as well. So they had 2 trailers. As you can see, I watched them both. What's Shark Week about? Oh, you guys don't know what Shark Week is? Shark Week is a whole week of shark programming. It's like behind the scenes stuff with what sharks do in the ocean and telling you how sharks are. It's just like a whole bunch of sharks. And it's been going on for years, and it's a ratings juggernaut. People really enjoy Shark Week. Now, as for these 2 trailers, they had Downey's Dream Cars, which you can see has very few views. So if you look at the viewership, Downey Jr. should be like, uh-oh. So Robert Downey Jr.'s trailer, after just 2 hours, has there's always a little bit of a lag on YouTube with the upfront number, but that's only 4.2 versus 44 for Conan O'Brien. So Robert Downey Jr., though, he's really working hard. He really has a big deal over at Warner Brothers. He also has that HBO show coming up. But Downey's Dream Cars, these shows both just looked okay to me. They looked a lot like a celebrity just picking up a paycheck. And also, Eugene Levy just, so Conan, I mean, like, here's the thing. Robert Downey's Dream Cars seems to me to be like a total mix of Jeremy's Renovations and Jay Leno's Car Garage, as Mika just pointed out. Yeah, it's renovation. I don't think Renovations did numbers, Dane, because we certainly haven't seen it in the Nielsen ratings. So that just seems really derivative to me, especially if you watch that trailer, you see the show seems a lot like Renovations. He's even assembled a team to help him redo the cars, etc. Then as for Conan O'Brien, that's only 4 episodes, his travel show, and it reminds me of Eugene Levy's travel show over on Apple TV, which is also comedic. Like, look at this celebrity try and do a travel show. And Stanley Tucci, of course, the Tooch, recently had a travel show in Italy, I believe on CNN. It was supposed to be CNN Plus, but they had to move it somewhere else after CNN Plus imploded. What's interesting, though, is you really see them moving away from the HBO branding. What are you looking at here? You're looking at Discovery Shark Week and Max shows. So I think, that's the reason they took HBO out of the name. And so they're really moving it to just be Warner Brothers and Discovery. They also really did a lot of love for TBS. TBS still exists. They're doing a lot of stuff over on TBS. And Food Network. Food Network is getting an Elf on the Shelf cooking show for the holidays. And Selena Gomez got herself 2 Food Network shows. So her HBO Max cooking shows that started off during the pandemic must have been really popular. So does anybody have any questions about this before we move on to the next story of the day? Poke, yes, I know. I've posted so much content today, I ran out of notifications. And so I feel bad that the notification never went live, that I was live. YouTube is frustrating in that regard. Nothing I can do about it. They'll only send out 3 notifications in a 24-hour period. That's why I always put it up on Twitter. So they sent out the 30-minute notice, and then they decided that they were done for the day. So that's why the crowd's a little smaller today. But, it is what it is. People like the cooking shows, Matt. I don't know what to tell you. Vatuli says, speaking of sharks in the sea, when's the first Aquaman trailer? With the Flash? I would think with the Flash, potentially. Mika says, Grace, do you cook? I can cook, but I'm not like a chef. That's how I would say. I'm a pretty good cook, I'll do a poll. Do any of you watch cooking shows? Do you watch cooking shows? Love them. Sometimes. Not interested. I used to watch like Gordon Ramsay back in the day. I thought he was pretty funny. I saw a funny joke about this squid is so raw, it's still telling SpongeBob to F off. I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, did Gordon Ramsay really say that? Because that's very clever. But yeah, I'm not a big, look, Lisa says my husband is a chef, so we watch a lot of Food Network. That's awesome. That's awesome. Rashad says, Grace, do you season your food? I do not like salt. I have a very low salt tolerance. So I like black pepper, but I don't salt my food. I'm very salt sensitive, I'm afraid. Tanya, that's right, I did make a pecan pie, and it looked great. I was very proud of myself. That was the first pie I ever baked all by myself, and it turned out real good. So I'm very proud of myself. Woohoo, I didn't burn it or anything. Yay. I love the Julia show about Julia Child. But look at Joy trying to fast forward us. We'll fast forward in just a minute, Joy. I understand. This was a very slow story. Lisa's chef husband also doesn't like salt. Ivan says, but McDonald's is so salty. Well, I didn't say I never ate salt, but I'm certainly not going to add more salt to my food. Jake, that's not what we're discussing about Aubrey Plaza. I did see that she posted that. I think she's just being, to be honest with you, I think they're just making fun shares up that are takes on classic television shows. I don't think that that's anything to actually do with the show. Okay, Carter, that's totally off topic as well. All right, let's go to the next story. Oh, yeah, Fabian, I watched The Bear. And that was about cooking, so I appreciated that. Let's end the poll. All right, poll says, hold on, here it comes. Where'd it go? Come on, poll. Where is it? I ended the poll. YouTube. Come on, YouTube. Why is it not showing up? That's ridiculous. Well, YouTube said, F your poll. You guys can see it? I can't see it. I ended the poll though. 68% watch cooking shows. Wow, that's a lot. That's fantastic. I can't believe that it didn't show up in here. That's so bizarre. What's going on with YouTube today? All right, so anyway, let's go. I don't see it in the comments for me. That's so weird. I'd refresh, but I'm worried that would break the stream. So, oh well. All right, let's move on to the next story. 1 second. All right, hold on. Story number 2. Boop. Oh, look at Nikki Cage. So let me give you some updates on video game content that you guys have been asking about. Now, a number of people asked me why I didn't react to the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer. Well, here's the deal. As I said, I only get 3 notifications to you guys every 24 hours. So I'm not going to, for Universal, which is difficult with their trailer reactions, I usually don't react to Universal trailers. And especially when I have so much other stuff. Oh, Zach got gifted a membership. That's so sweet. When I have so much other stuff going on, I'm certainly not going to take up a notification with the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer, which is not going to be something for me anyway. All right. If, I know enough, I'm certainly going to review it. I can see that people are very interested in Five Nights at Freddy's. And maybe if the trailer doesn't drop in the middle of the night when it's not too busy, I'll react to the next trailer just because I know there's a lot of interest in it. But a trailer that I am going to react to is Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat announced just a few minutes ago that they are dropping their trailer finally tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will be reacting to Mortal Kombat's trailer tomorrow, especially because I think that it's becoming more valuable as an IP to Warner Brothers Discovery overall. They have the sequel coming up. So that's a big deal. So I'll be reacting to that for sure. All right. Now let's talk about Nicolas Cage. So as you might recall, a few months ago or last year, Keanu Reeves decided to appear in Cyberpunk 2077. It was a big announcement when he showed up at some gaming event and was like, I'm going to be in Cyberpunk 2077. And everyone made a big deal about it. But I don't think it ever really materialized to something people are interested in. Although I know Cyberpunk ended up being delayed a whole lot, so it was a whole thing. But as for Nicolas Cage, he's coming off of Renfield and a couple of low-budget niche horror films, which people really liked. People thought it was so see, Cyberpunk, it did not go over very well, so nobody even cared that Keanu Reeves was in it. Although Ouroboros Snake enjoyed it. So anyway, Nicolas Cage is on a bit of a roll, and I'm sure he got paid huge amounts of money to be a skin in this video game. Like, wow. Like, he narrated this trailer. He's doing himself. I am sure that they paid him so much money to do this. And it was money well spent, because look, as you can see, earlier in the day, he was trending. He was, he was trending number 2. Isn't that incredible? So it was AEW Collision, whatever the heck that is, Nicolas Cage, the Mission Impossible trailer, Gareth Edwards with the creator, and then typical Twitter trash. But that's amazing that Nicolas Cage was trending so high. That's how I even heard about this. I was like, why is Nick Cage trending? And then I was like, what is Dead by Daylight? Well, let's talk about it, because I looked into it, and it actually seems like a pretty cool game. So that's what it looks like. That's the logo there, okay? That's called Dead by Daylight. This is it started in 2016. It's kind of like horror Fortnite, basically, from what I can tell. So it's like horror Fortnite where you have 5 people playing at a time. One of them is the killer, and then the other 4 are survivors. And they have to try and evade the killer, and if the killer can kill everybody, I guess they win. But if somebody can survive and escape, they're the winner. And as some of you are pointing out, they've done a very good job bringing in celebrities. But not a celebrity like an actor. They bring in characters. Ghostface, as Kay Walton pointed out. Writer Boy's excited. That's awesome. I'll try another poll, okay? I don't know if I'm going to see the results, but let's try it. So we'll do you play Dead by Daylight? Heck yeah. I'm aware of it. And then, what now? That was me. What? What is this? So yeah, so I looked it up. And so they've had some really famous characters. Oh, look, Ray is playing it right now. Ray, I wonder if you're playing it because of today. Were you inspired to do it? Jewel says my 10-year-old son loves that game. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. The notification just popped up for the live stream, Lisa? Twitter. Maybe it's not doing its thing today. All right, so anyway, they've had Ghostface. So here's the thing. They've had famous skins as both the killer, like Ghostface, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers. So you get to pick who you are as the killer. And then if you want to try and be a survivor, you can pick famous things there too. For instance, you could be Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character from Halloween. You could be Ash Williams from Evil Dead. You could be Nancy and Steve from Stranger Things. And this is, very big in Japan, and they really like horror stuff quite a bit there, so I'm not surprised. I'm not a huge horror fan, as you know. I don't know if I would want to play this game, but I will tell you, from an intellectual perspective, it seems pretty cool. Why are you guys testing? Are some of these things not working? Why? All right, so anyway, it seems kind of cool, all right? If I were Nicolas Cage and his agent, if they came to me and they said, do you want to be a character in this? I'd be like, that sounds pretty neat. And apparently he's going to be a survivor. He's not going to be the murderer, but Nicolas Cage. You can try and survive as Nicolas Cage. Specs points out that Dead by Daylight is huge in the LGBT community. That's interesting. I've noticed, the same for Scream. I think the LGBTQ community really loves horror. And so I think it's a great idea for Nicolas Cage. I think that it's going to be great for the game. I think he's going to make so much money off of it. It's ridiculous. And it's, I think it's just the fact that it trended today alone and is still trending last I checked is just also a nice feather in his cap for himself and for the game. I wouldn't have heard about Dead by Daylight if it wasn't for Nicolas Cage appearing in it. And so it's certainly expanded its reach, which is really cool. Luis says, hope they keep Momoa's cameo in The Flash. What? Luis, we're not talking about that. But I don't know if I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so anyway, Nicolas Cage, he did the trailer earlier today, and there's going to be more details on July 5th. So all of a sudden, we're all like, okay, let's see what's happening with Dead by Daylight, which is kind of weird, which is kind of fun. So I'm excited, and we're certainly in a new space here. It's interesting to me. I've always covered movies. Then during the pandemic, I got more into television and streaming, and now I'm getting into video games. So I don't know if I see myself, and of course I've always loved comics as well. I still don't know if I see myself playing video games because of just the pure amount of time that's needed to do it. But I'm certainly going to be covering the business of it for sure. Is Blumhouse making a Dead by Daylight movie, Specs? That's incredible. That Jason Blum, he's snapping up all the IP, baby. He's like, why are all these tiny little video games? Woohoo! That's amazing. If they had a Dead by Daylight movie and they were able to get it was like Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, where they had all the different celebrities appear, that to me would be the most fun. But they would have to, if I were Jason Blum, I think he has a deal at Universal, so that kind of, I guess he could do his own movies. And then maybe he could have Nicolas Cage play himself. But I think you'd have to have the skin aspect of it, like the all-star. That to me would be kind of the coolest factor. Otherwise, it's just, how is it different than your typical slasher movie, quite frankly? I like that idea a lot, though, if they could figure out a way to do that. All right, so let me look at the poll before I end it in case it doesn't show up. Emmett says, I have to leave the stream for an important work call. Wish me luck. Emmett, what a great reason to leave. Good luck on your work call. Break a leg. All right, so right now, 43% of you are like, what now? 39% are aware of it, but only 19% of you play it. But look at how much it's expanded now. Oh, it showed up this time. Woohoo! I just think that's really cool. I think it's actually a really good idea. And I'm excited. And I will certainly be paying attention to the announcement on July 5th. All right, now get excited for this. This is pretty amazing. Hold on. Here we go. Story number 4. Boop. Okay, the sequel cast. So they're making a sequel finally to Twister. They're calling it Twisters. All right. Now, Twister, of course, was produced by Steven Spielberg. Jan de Bont directed off of Speed. Oh yeah, boom, baby. So it was a big movie. Came out in 1996. It was a lot of fun. I recently rewatched it actually during the pandemic. This isn't 4 stories. There's only been 3. So anyway, so they're doing Twisters, and it's being produced by Amblin Entertainment, Steven Spielberg's company. And they already announced the main cast members, which are Glenn Powell from, R.I.P. Bill Paxton for sure. I met Bill Paxton at Comic-Con right before he died, and he was incredible. He was such a nice man. All right, so Glenn Powell will star, who of course was in Top Gun Maverick, Daisy Edgar Jones, Anthony Ramos, who's from Hamilton and the upcoming Transformers movie and In the Heights, Brandon Perea, who was the IT guy in Nope from the store. I'm very happy for him. And it's also, the screenwriter is the guy who wrote The Revenant, and then the director is Lee Isaac Chung from Minari. That was I'm surprised he's doing a big action movie, but he did also the recent episode of The Mandalorian, episode 3 in season 3, The Convert, where Dr. Pershing was set up by Aaliyah Kane. And I thought that was a great episode, although some people didn't care for it. I really liked it, but on that note, look who's in the movie! Katie O'Brien. There she is, bottom left. Oh, I'm so happy for her. I believe she has her pronouns. But that's amazing. I'm so happy for her. Now, you might be like, does this mean she can't do The Last of Us Season 2? Well, Twisters is filming right now, so maybe she can. I'm a big fan of hers after her work on The Mandalorian. I thought she was pretty bad in Quantumania, but she was so good in Mando that I'm like, oh yeah, I want everything for her. So let's go over the rest of the cast, and that is Sabrina, but let's go through them in order, starting from top left. So that's Maura Tierney from The Affair, obviously. She's going to be in there. Harry Haddon Patton from Downton Abbey, but I also saw him live on Broadway in My Fair Lady at Lincoln Center. Sasha Lane from American Honey. She had a small role in Loki Season 1, and she's also in the upcoming The Crowded Room with Tom Hiddleston. Not Tom Hiddleston, Tom Holland. She's working with all the Marvel Toms. Elpidio, Katie O'Brien was the leader of the Quantumania Rebels. Can you believe it? She was unrecognizable in that role, and it was just a total waste of her talent. Maybe she can pull a Gemma Chan and play somebody else, because they just totally wasted her. All right, then, that is Kiernan Shipka, not only from Mad Men, but of course, Sabrina Spellman. So that's great casting. Then Katie O'Brien, who I'm so happy about, second, bottom row on the left, Katie O'Brien. Then Tundi Adebimpe from Spider-Man Homecoming. That's his last credit, apparently. And who is that? That's David Corenswet, who a number of people who are hoping to be Superman. I don't know why. I think he's an awful choice. He can't act, but there he is in this movie. But because it's filming right now, he could potentially still be Superman. So that's David Corenswet, and then Nick Dudani from Atypical is rounding out the cast. Seems like a lot of red shirts, because this cast is huge. You have all 8 of these people, and then you've also got Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar Jones, Anthony Ramos, and Brandon Perea. That's another 4 on top of that. That's 12. I mean, although the original, The original Twister had a very large cast as well because you not only have your main Twister people, but then you have their whole crew of scientists. But I think, yeah, as Mish says, red shirts for sure. So yeah, I think it's going to be great. I hope it has high stakes, and I got to tell you again, as I said, the first one really holds up. And I don't know if you remember, but it used to be an attraction or experience at Universal Studios, and so that was always fun. You know, it was like a walkthrough, and they're like, "Here comes the Twister, hold on to something," and then woo, and stuff got ripped off, and you would be like, "Oh, cool, yeah, I kind of remember this movie." So very, very funny. But yeah, some of you remember the Twister experience as well. Matt, there's gotta be a cow. As you might recall from the original Twister, one of the most famous moments is when the cow went airborne and went flying across the screen, and they were like, "Cow." Yeah, why is Helen Hunt not here? I don't know. Maybe she'll have a cameo. I don't really think anybody's like, where's Helen Hunt? I mean, obviously some of you are. I think Bill Paxton would be more somebody that people were interested in, quite frankly, for this. But, I would probably have Helen Hunt do like a cameo. Dolan, I'm glad I mentioned the Universal ride. All right, so that's the third story of the day, which means it's Q&A time, baby. Hold on. Yep, we're running early on time. It's Q&A time. It's 2:58, so you can ask me anything you'd like. We'll go for 15 minutes since we're only at 27 minutes for the stream. So let's just make it until 3:15. You can ask me anything that you would like. Anything you'd like until 3:15. Mika says, Chiwetel Ejiofor cast in Venom 3. Thoughts? Yeah, he is Mordo. I mean, I don't know why they're still making these non-Spider-Man Sony movies. It seems like a waste of time to me. I was almost going to be one of my stories today, but then I was like, I'm talking about Katie O'Brien instead. Although Sean has the same question. I'm happy for Juno Temple. She's in that movie too. But I thought the last Venom was so bad, I don't know if it can recover. Richard Montano says, Grace, can you give us a tiny bit more tea regarding the F4 casting? Were you implying the Thing will be cast as female? Okay, I'll give you a little bit more tea. From what I'm hearing, and this actor has not accepted yet, so it's not confirmed, but the offer I know has gone out. The Thing will still be male. The Thing will still be Jewish, which is very important to the character. However, I do believe the Thing will be race-bent. So I basically just told you. So that's as far as I'm willing to go. And again, has not accepted yet. So just the offer is out. So I don't know. He hasn't necessarily, he's not necessarily going to do it. So we'll see. Sean says, what did you think of the Meg 2 trailer? It seemed like too old school to me, quite frankly. Official Liam says, hey, Grace, have you heard about the Marvels being anime-inspired too? And if so, do you think it could reach the anime crowd as well? I definitely have heard about it being anime-inspired, and it looks anime-inspired, quite frankly. But I don't know if it's going to cross over. And I also don't think that that's big enough numbers, quite frankly. Geek Legion of Doom says, thoughts of Ted Lasso Season 3 now that it's finished. It's not finished, Geek Legion of Doom. It still has 2 more episodes to go. But it's close to being done. Davy Jones says, I've heard no talk about the Marvels in the anime community, so if it is, then it's not working. That's funny. Olivia Allen, the only name I heard for potentially for Johnny Storm, and again, this was just a rumor that was my sources couldn't even totally peg it down, but I heard Lucas from the first season of The White Lotus. That's the only person's name I ever personally heard mentioned in correlation with Johnny Storm. But I'm not sure who they're casting on that. Josh Becker says, Grace, any idea why Ted Lasso Season 3 is such a step down from Season 2? I think it's lost its focus. I think it has too many characters and it's focusing on all of them. And I think it has too much that it's trying to say. I think that Ted Lasso worked best when it was a show about Ted Lasso. And all the other characters were secondary. But Ted Lasso almost seems like he's just kind of like Ed Sullivan at this point. He's just like the host who kind of pops his head in occasionally and goes, hey, how's everybody doing? And tells like a hokey, funny joke. But it doesn't really seem to be about him anymore. Let's see here. Big League Chew says Succession Season 4, Episode 7 thoughts. Also, any predictions for how the series will end? Oh, they really kept me guessing. I thought the episode was really amazing, what it had to say about businesses owning the news. And I thought that it was extremely well done. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, so forgive me if you heard what I had to say yesterday. But I felt that, I felt Shiv did weaponize the information between her and Tom. So she reaped what she sowed. And I thought that Tom's quote about the use of information was brilliant. And you could see played throughout the show. And that one shot when Kendall finds out about Shiv, to me, reminded me of The Godfather. It was such an incredible shot and the look on his face. He has a little bit of a young Al Pacino vibe sometimes too, which I think helps. Raul Ortiz says your breathtaking comment before you saw it was a reference to Keanu in the game show. Oh, don't worry about it, Raul. AG68 says, hey, Grace, I rewatched the Fox X-Men and missed the Fox movies in that universe, even the bad ones. Don't worry about it, AG68. They're going to show up one last time in Deadpool 3 and in Secret Wars, so don't worry about it. Mr. Andrew says, what are your thoughts on this year's upfronts? Pretty low-key, but that's unfortunately because they're in the middle of the writer's strike. So there's the combination of no new deals being able to be struck, and then also, so they have that issue. And then also, I think, what was I going to say? The writers, and also being respectful to the writer's strike. Vanderson Valley says, what's your favorite 4th of July movie? Well, I really like some of the great, patriotic films like Glory and 1776. But I also got to tell you, one film I really love to watch for 4th of July is Walt Disney's Pollyanna. They have a 4th of July like party towards the end of it. It's just such a great summer film, and I just think it's really cozy. So that's one of my favorite 4th of July films. Jessie the Good Witch, always good to see you. In 2014, you recommended we watch Waking Sleeping Beauty. I put it on my DVD Netflix queue, and I finally got to it last week. Almost 10 years later. Thank you, Grace. It was a good birth. Oh, it's your birthday, Jessie? Oh, you had a good birthday last week? Oh, that's great. I'm so glad you checked it out. Everybody should watch Waking Sleeping Beauty, especially if you're interested in business and Disney animation. It is an incredible film, very frank and honest about what was going on at Disney. AG68 said, what are your thoughts on Harry Potter being on Netflix in the UK? These deals are crazy, man. These deals are crazy. Let's see here. Mike says, just saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I love the fact James Gunn didn't give High Evolutionary a backstory, and he was evil for evil's sake. Made him a fun villain. Well, I think you could see where he was coming from, and that James Gunn did a good enough job writing the character that you didn't need to have it explained. There are people like that, and I think he played the mad scientist quite well. Kind of a mix between Dr. Frankenstein and Dr. Moreau. It was really good. Josh says, will you review Succession and Barry when they are finished? Maybe. I'm really having a hard time finding stories for the live, so maybe that'll be part of the lives. The way I did Beef. That seemed to work out pretty well, so maybe I'll do it that way. Oh, Clearwater, your birthday is tomorrow? Happy birthday in advance. Olivia Allen says, what are your thoughts about Johnny Depp's movie opening at Cannes? 7-minute stand. Well, they have so many standing ovations at Cannes at this point, I wouldn't pay that much attention. And him saying he is done with Hollywood. I think it's a really dangerous game to point fingers, especially when you're trying to make up. I think he should just let it go. And I gotta say, I think, there's Johnny Depp movies that I think are really cool, that everyone's excited about. And then there are the self-indulgent ones that he's been making for a long time. And this seems like one of those to me. Let's see here. Matt says, Grace, do you have any Aquaman 2 tea? Also thoughts on not putting Heard in the trailer for CinemaCon. Misstep or good idea? Well, I told you they whittled her down to very little screen time. And she, in fact, I believe, has quit acting for now, speaking of Hollywood. And she's gone to live, I believe, in Spain, at least for a little while, with the daughter that she just recently had. I think that these last few DC movies, it doesn't really matter what they do, to be honest with you. Tree Dow says, can you do a mini review of The Diplomat? I've been obsessed with bingy political thrillers lately, and Kerry Russell has been on a roll. Well, I just think it was incredibly well done. I thought I was very twisty. I loved the energy of it. I thought it was very well filmed, and I really thought it did a good job with its female characters. To see a female character in the lead of a thriller like that, I thought it was really well handled. I liked all the characters. I thought they handled the diversity of the show incredibly well. It was just a really well-made show. Let's see here. Talia Vasquez says, did you hear about the Disney trying to get people across the picket line? Well, no, I didn't hear in what context that was, so I can't really comment on it. But I do know that some studios are trying to at least, I think the Writers Guild is trying to grind Hollywood to a halt, whereas the studios are trying to at least film the scripts that they have completed. And that's really where the struggle is right now. Because, the strike is supposed to last through the whole summer. And it could be, the writers feel accurately, I think, that they can maybe speed it up a little bit if Hollywood can't film anything. So never cross a picket line. Don't do it. Dancing Doug 60 says, silly question, but why do you think Mark Hamill's career never took off from Star Wars, yet Harrison Ford struck it big? I think Mark Hamill's just a different type of actor. I think he's more of a character actor, and I think maybe for a while he wanted to be a lead. It's very important in life to have good self-awareness and to understand where you have real value. That's why you got to stay fluid and never be too excited about don't get too excited about one particular thing. Don't have a myopic vision. You got to see broadly so that you can see what your best opportunities might be, and they could be a surprise. But then he got the Joker, and he's very successful these days. I would say Mark Hamill's doing a little bit better than Harrison Ford right now. And you have to remember, Harrison Ford got Indiana Jones at the same time from the same company. And he just became a heartthrob. He became just a huge star. I can't even think of somebody who was like him today. That's how big a star Harrison Ford was at the time. I don't think there is anybody like him right now. And so he was a really big deal. So Harrison Ford was unique. A lot of people did not have careers like him. Deborah, you're in Ireland on vacation. I hope you're having a great time. Sean said, could Disney make a live-action Pocahontas work? No. They will never be able to do that because they took ridiculous liberties with the true story. In real life, Pocahontas was 12. So they cannot do that story under any circumstances. They're fortunate that everybody gives them a pass on the animated movie. Marvelous Jack says, any news on Dr. Doom casting? Who would you cast? Well, I've said before, keep forgetting his name. He was in Bad Sisters, and he was the villain in Alexander Skarsgård's Viking movie. He would be my Dr. Doom, and I think he's incredible. But I would accept Michael Fassbender. Mr. Andrew says, this year my 4th of July film will be Top Gun Maverick, because for me that's a very American film. That is a very American film. That's a great choice, The last third of the film was bonkers, Mr. Andrews. I agree. I was like, what are they doing? This is incredible. That's, I think, all Christopher McQuarrie. I think the final third of Top Gun Maverick is Christopher McQuarrie, quite frankly. Mish says, I'm so excited for Secret Invasion. I have the comic, and I'm such a fan of the story. Me too. I hope they don't ruin it. I would hope, Mish, that it would lead to Secret Invasion in the movies, but I don't see it happening because I think they're just going to waste it in the show. Bibbidi bobbidi boop, I sure spilled a ton of Fantastic Four tea. Let's see here. Zay says, hey Grace, any news on Netflix's Avatar or Snow White live action remakes? I'm very excited for The Little Mermaid. Cannot wait for your coverage. I have all the Funkos. We're going to have so much fun next week. The review embargo lifts on Monday. I would assume maybe they'd have a teaser for Snow White. I would think it would either be here, but since we're a year from Snow White, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they hold the teaser for Snow White for either maybe the Hunger Games movie, because of course Rachel Zegler is in both films, or maybe, which comes out right at the same time, Disney's Wish, their Thanksgiving movie. Maybe that to me seems like a little bit of a better time to preview it. Fazilla says, it's my birthday on Tuesday. Oh, how exciting. Do you think they will bring Robert Downey Jr. to Marvel? And how? Through AI? I would love to see him come back as AI. And then also just finally return. I think he'll be back someday for sure. And then I have not seen Citadel. I have not. I think Chris Evans will be back as Captain America too, for sure. I don't know about Scarlett Johansson, though. I think her character's done. Rye says, do you think Marvel will update the Phase 5 and 6 slate at San Diego Comic-Con? For sure, and I'm sure they'll give more details. They always come to play. Let's see here. Oop. Hold on, let me see here. Apple Pitt says, saw Barry finally. I think Hader should be the Joker. Barry's getting real surreal, like really surreal. I'm like, I don't know if this is a good choice or not. Yeah, that's right, Klaus Bang. That's who I think should be Dr. Doom. Sean Turner says they're making Bad Sisters season 2. Oh, that's great. I don't know what else that family could do, but I'm excited. I'll watch it. Joy, I'm glad you liked my Joker Batman comparison for Fast X. It is totally accurate. You're going to have a great time. I'm seeing it again this weekend too. Topher Hader, Bill Hader would be a pretty good Riddler. Although I thought Paul Dano was good. I don't know how they're going to have duplicates. This is so stupid that the Reeves verse is separate. I mean, it's just dumb. I don't understand why Matt Reeves is allowed to do that. Lord Baratheon says predictions for Fast X box office. Well, there's so little interest in it. Let me see what the last one opened in. Hold on. Wait a minute. Fast 9. Its opening was 70 million. That's pretty good. I think around there, quite frankly. I think it's going to perform like the previous one. It's a great movie, but people really are disparaging about that franchise. Ixion says, love you. Thank you. Any thoughts on the strike? How much longer? Well, as I just said, it's expected to last throughout the entire summer and maybe be, fixed for the fall. Outerborough says, what is your favorite non-Batman DC comic? I enjoy some of the Superman ones. I enjoy the new take on Superman. I think that's not bad. But I mostly read Batman. I like the new Poison Ivy comic. I think that's pretty good. Let's see here. Oh, Chad CJ says, thoughts on Illumination's migration. Kumail Nanjiani is a voice. I love Kumail Nanjiani. It looks pretty good to me. I like Illumination. I'll check that movie out for sure. Kareem says, Grace, I've never seen a single Fast and Furious. Should we do a watch-along? No, I don't want to watch any more of them. They're not really movies that you can rewatch, in my opinion. But you don't have to have seen any. You don't have to have seen a single Fast and Furious movie to enjoy this. Bruno says, do you think the Aladdin sequel is in danger after the tweets? I think it was never going to happen. And I think this is like one of the final nails in the coffin. But I think it's been delayed for so long, and I think the Will Smith situation is like not great. I don't think they're going to make an Aladdin sequel. Ryan Deloney says, happy Wednesday. Just getting to join for a moment on my lunch, but we'll rewatch later. Happy Wednesday to you too. Orisborough's, I'm enjoying World's Finest too, but I fall in and out of it. I like the artwork. Dan Mora is a really brilliant artist, but I think sometimes the story is not great. Another comic I love is, I like Tom Taylor. I read his Titans. All of his comics kind of sound the same a little bit, but I read his Nightwing. I just picked up the new Titans, where they're the new Justice League. But I do like his like DC Medieval, like Dark Knights book. I think that's pretty interesting. Oh, Mish, you'll definitely see Vision again in the MCU. He's getting his own show called Vision Quest. All right, it's 3:15. Time for shout-outs. What are you up to? What are you doing? Let me just say hi. What's going on with you? Mr. Andrews says, now that you've watched Little Mermaid and Fast X, what's your final... I don't know. I have to see how audiences react to these movies, because while I really enjoyed both of them, you got to see how audiences react. Vanderson Valley is about to get some McDonald's chicken nuggets. Eat one for me, Vanderson. Dancing Dog 60 says, watching from the office. Slow day today. Ain't it for all of us? James Griffin says, watching the live stream with my boyfriend Sam. Hi, Sam. And getting ready to watch Scream 6. Hashtag gays love horror. I love it. Have a good time. If you've not seen it yet, you're going to have a great time. Kev says, just having a Timmy's and a muffin. What's a Timmy's, Kev? What is a Timmy's? I'm intrigued. Bye, Raphael. Let's see here. Allison Martinet says, shopping for manga. That's awesome. Robo Costi says, studying at university. Love it. Jennifer Escalona says, enjoying the stream while working. Awesome. Hey, you deserve a break. Keith says, just finished lunch and about to rewatch Quantum Mania. That's right. It's on Disney Plus now. Travis says, just want to tell you that I love you and your... thanks, Travis. You're always such a bright, shining light. It's always so nice to hear from you. And that's very not kind of you. Kelsey says, eating fries and ketchup. Ooh, delicious. Daniel Montalvo says, starting to pack for my internship in Fort Worth next week. Oh, that's exciting. Good luck. Or break a leg. Kev says it's forgot coffee. I must have not seen your earlier comment. Ryan says, trying to figure out my outfit for the Taylor Swift concert this weekend. Oh, it's apparently very good. Taylor Swift and Beyonce are touring at the same time. Oh, it's so exciting. Patty Girl says, in San Francisco, taking a break from work. Awesome. Jay King says, planning my trip to Italy this summer. I know you've been there. Any recommendations? Heck yeah. All right. Rome is obviously fantastic. I really enjoyed Rome, but actually I much preferred being around the Mediterranean on the Amalfi Coast. That to me was the most exciting, like Sorrento and stuff like that. There are all these little places, and it's near Pompeii too. But, all along the coastline, it's just really charming. And then also Venice. If it's not flooded right now, go and see how it's doing in the flooded department, but you got to go to Venice. Dallin says, looking at cute sofas for my big move to Arizona. Life changes. I love it. Matthew says he tried to watch Ant-Man 3 and turned it off. Oh, I can understand that. The best parts are in the beginning. Manoj Francis says, going to sleep. It's 12:45 a.m. in Kerala, India. Well, thanks for staying up as long as you did. Let's see here. CJ says, spotted walking on the Upper East Side watching the stream with Starbucks. XOXO Gossip Girl. I love it. Very nice. Oh, Keith says, Timmy's is like better Canadian Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, I've heard of that, right? I didn't know it was called Timmy's, though. Isn't it called Tim something? Oh, my pleasure, J. King. Rita says, baking lemon cake for my in-laws, watching Silo. Oh, wow, that's such a nice thing to do. That's so kind of you. I hope they appreciate it. Mr. Andrew says, thinking to go to bed in 20 minutes. It's 9:18 p.m. in Barcelona. Love the stream today. Greetings to all. Aw, that's so nice. Hello. That's good. You're getting an early night's rest. Good for you. David, yes, somebody mentioned the Dead by Daylight movie from Blumhouse. That sounds really cool. Rashad said, enjoying my day off with this live stream, Sims 4, and ice cream. Oh, you're living it up, Rashad. Ivan says, here in Mexico, finishing all my birthday snacks and candy from my birthday last week. That's great. You have some left over. That's great. And then Wade says, I run in the Manchester 10K this Sunday for Alzheimer's Society. Oh, that's a big deal. I've only ever run a 5K, and that was a legit challenge. So I'm impressed with your 10K. And Philly Variant says, at work, 2 more hours to go. Well, I hope I made it go a little bit faster. You guys are just the absolute best. I had a lovely time talking to you, as always. There will be one more stream this week, and it will probably be tomorrow, to be honest with you. I have a lot of stuff going on Friday. However, Friday evening, don't forget, we're doing the watch-along for The Little Mermaid. So it's for BTT Movie Club members. So either upgrade your membership or join today if you'd like to participate. But it would be great to have you there. We're going to have a really good time. Dan's going to Disney tomorrow. Oh, my God. And I saw one other comment I wanted to touch on. Where did it go? Where did it go? Nanny's Kink says, at work watching your live, you are awesome. I like your pose. I do that all the time, too. I love it. Have a great day. You guys are the best. You really are all awesome. Charles, the watch-along on Friday is, I believe, at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Little Mermaid watch-along is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Friday, and of course the movie is on Disney Plus. And I'll put the graphics up early in the day so you'll have the link. All right, everybody, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.